Hey, good evening. How's everyone doing this wonderful Saturday? Well, evening here. Different times of the day. Just thought I'd jump on, have a little chat with you. Use a quadrant and just share a few thoughts around the challenges of our generation. In case you're in any doubt, this is our generation. I know that there's an X and a Y and there's a Z or a Z, but this is our generation. This is the time that all of us are alive on the planet together. And so as far as I'm concerned, this is our generation. And you can divide that into different age groups, but this is our generation. And, there are aspects of the millennial generation that, that I embraced. Just a reality, a fact of my life. I think I make coffee like a millennial. So, this is our generation, and I just want to share a few thoughts. I borrowed a couple of them and added some of my thoughts to them. And next time I jump on, I'll probably have a look at the kind of the four major characteristics of this particular generation. But for now, let's have a look at this. Trust you're all doing well out there. Just keeping my eye so I can stick this on a share onto my other Facebook world. Yeah. So the challenges of our generation, and I'm pretty sure they affect us all. They were there before this pandemic season. I have a feeling they'll be there after this pandemic season. And in many respects, it's been made maybe more of a challenge because of this pandemic season. That's why I want to jump in and tell you that without any shadow of a doubt, Jesus is the answer. Anyone who's listened to me in the last 18 months knows that I've had a song in my head. I bought it on vinyl live at Carnegie Hall. I had to have Andre Crouch singing Jesus is the answer for the world today. And I picked up some of this while I was reading Zechariah, and God told me to read Zechariah. In Zechariah chapter 3, it says the branch is coming. That's very, very good news. The branch is Jesus. Jesus is the answer. So let's have a quick look at this. Let's have a look. We got four there. Challenges of our generation. I'm pretty sure that you will find yourself in there. Fear of missing out. Gosh, that's definitely related without any shadow of a doubt and been exacerbated by our social media world, hasn't it? I say when I was a kid, my fear of missing out was that I'd be sick for my best friend's birthday party or something like that, But now fear of missing out isn't missing out on an event. It's about missing out on a life. And that presents a lot of people with a huge challenge, and in my opinion causes some people to end up living a lie. And you can see some of that. If you jump on social media, you can see and you can feel the pressure to live up to something. As lots of people have said in various preaches and sermons, nobody ever live streams an argument with their wife. It's when they're serving the perfect meal to their wife or taking tea to them in bed on Mother's Day or something like that. So fear of missing out will cause us to live a lie. It's the exaggeration of the keeping up with the Joneses that we've talked about. But we got that. We got fear of missing out. I'm going to come back and tell you the answers. Jesus is the answer, but I'm going to tell you specifically what the answer is, and I believe what you can do about it and how you can get a breakthrough out of some of these patterns of thinking, because that's what they are. They're patterns of thinking, and we've been affected by them. And so, yeah, commitment phobia. I think I borrowed this from John Mark Comer or Mark Sayers, one of the geniuses that have written and done some great podcasts. If you haven't listened to This Cultural Moment, fantastic podcast series. Commitment phobia, afraid in some way of making a commitment to something, or dare I say someone. And, I've watched some people and they're running from one thing to the next, one experience to the next. and that, committing to something, even things like church membership and stuff like that, taking the rough with the smooth, being committed. And there's a phobia about that and a resistance to that. And I do watch people running. I'm a job for life guy, which is funny because I'm on my 4th career. But inside, I was going to be a nurse for life. I was going to run prisons for life. I was going to be in Bethel for life. And now I've come back to Europe. And it's just a mindset. It's a mindset. A commitment mindset. And I want to just encourage you in that. There's a lot to be said. I read a post today of somebody who planted a church, 40 odd years ago, still leading the same church. There's something to be said for commitment. And I do think that it's a part of our globalized world that means that we can constantly be chasing after the next experience. Choice anxiety, the fear of making the wrong choice. Well, I want to tell you it's a lie anyway. Even if you do, it won't be, because if you submit it to him, he'll make it beautiful. It's the way he is. He is a redeemer, but there is a real fear. And what happens with choice anxiety is people get stuck, paralyzed, and they end up not making choices. And paralysis in that respect, it's just not helpful. And then this is huge, but so much of this around, isn't it? And exacerbated by the pandemic, loss of purpose. And the result is a low-grade depression and anxiety. And, all of these, I can play around with them in different ways. I can throw in some other words, fear of missing out and self-worth. We got to really sort that out. Loss of purpose, our assignment's clear. We're sent ones, sent from heaven to earth. Commitment phobia, there's just lots of ways I could jump into that, but I'm going to give you the answers to them all now, because the answer is Jesus. But I want to give you a practical way into this. Fear of missing out. For many years, I don't know the first time I prayed it. I know some people specifically, I remember praying it over them, and I would pray this: answer their don't pass me by prayer. Answer their don't pass me by prayer. And I took it from the story of Jesus, where Jesus comes into town and the blind man shouts out, "Son of David, don't pass me by." And Jesus said, "Bring him to me." And then he said, "What can I do for you?" And, he is the one. If you cry out, "Son of David, don't pass me by," he is the one who will answer your don't pass me by prayer. Don't miss me out prayer. He'll answer it. It just takes the courage to lift your voice above the crowd and say, "Son of David, don't pass me by." He really is the answer. Commitment phobia. The place that I go for this is commit your ways unto the Lord, and he will direct your paths. There is a biblical spiritual commitment that causes your paths to be directed. And very similarly, choose you this day, choice anxiety, choose you this day whom you will serve. I've made, like many married men, there are 2 great choices in my life, Jesus and my wife. And those 2 choices have caused all other choices to line up. Don't be afraid. You can't make the wrong choice, because even if you do and you give it to him, he'll touch it. He is a redeemer. He'll unstick you. Don't let choice paralyze you into inactivity and loss of purpose. The most famous verse of all about this, Jeremiah 29:11, "I have plans for you, says the Lord, plans to bring you a hope and a purpose." That was delivered in captivity. And Jesus is the answer. I want to encourage every one of you, just looking at this, these are challenges of our generation. Fear of missing out is very, very real. Commitment phobia. There's so many experiences, so we jump from one to the next. I honestly know people who it seems like they've just been going from one school of ministry, one revival experience, one mission trip, the next school to the next. I'm not saying it's hundreds, but I know some like that. It's like, hey, there comes a point in time where you have to commit, put your feet down and go, right, I'm here. Plant yourself, commit your way unto the Lord, and he will direct your paths. I committed my way to the Lord and trained as a nurse. He directed me to prison. Directed me to prison government. He directed me to Bethel. He directed me back here to Europe. And through all that, he's directed my paths. 32 years after being a nurse, I speak at medical healing conferences. Studying strategic planning in prison, I teach strategy around the world. Commit your way unto the Lord and he will direct your paths. Choice anxiety, choose you this day. The big choices, just make the big choice. Choose him. Make him number one. Line everything else up and all of your choices will line up. And loss of purpose, we don't need to suffer loss of purpose in this life. I get it. I understand it. It's a wrestle for so many at the moment. We can't do what we can normally do. And our life was traveling. We not traveled. We've not been on a plane for a year, barely been in a meeting for a year. That which we do, that which is our way of life, our living. And I get it. But, you know, he says, I have a plan for you, says the Lord. Plans to give you a hope and a purpose or a future or a destiny. This is our Jesus. He is the answer to the challenges of our generation. And, you know, if you want any help with this, I'm launching on Monday my whiteboard coaching webinar series. I've been teaching this for over 10 years. But I've never put together a manual. I've never put together a series, and I've put that together now. I've got a series. I'm going to walk you through it. I'm going to do 2 live demonstrations, and I'll help you with a whole bunch of this stuff. Believing your story is a huge answer to the fear of missing out. Choice anxiety, I'll show you how he wastes nothing and he gets you ready. I'll help you to take the next step towards your purpose and your destiny. I'll tap into a bunch of this stuff. It's what I love to do. These are the challenges of a generation. Fear of missing out and causes people to live a lie. Commitment phobia causes people to run. Choice anxiety causes people to get stuck. And loss of purpose causes low-grade anxiety and depression. But Jesus is the answer. He won't pass you by. He will direct your paths. He will honor the primary choice for the rest of your life. And he has a plan for you to give you a hope and a future. If you want more of this, I'll be jumping on some more of these, or you want more detailed instruction. My whiteboard coaching webinar series is going to be a lot of fun and a lot of breakthrough. And I can guarantee you, you won't be disappointed. Been great to chat to you. I'll see you again soon. Bye for now.